Hi, I'm Skeletons. I make cartoons for a living. So, Sly Cooper iceberg video, and I was explaining about some interesting facts about Sly Cooper and all this other stuff. This trailer for Sly 4 Deceit of Thieves, and I thought it was really interesting, and I plugged it in because I feel that it's a passion project that some people like me who would really love to see how it would come out. And since Sanzaro and Sucker Punch and Sony aren't really interested in the project, I think it would be a good idea for at least a resurgence of some kind to at least bring the games back into spotlight again. But so far, apparently that there's a lot of people who don't like this idea of just having another game and not rather just going back to fixing the problems of what it had in the fourth game. I'm not gonna say that the project is gonna be like fantastic and beautiful and it's gonna be like so fucking great and shit, because I would like to give my opinion when I do actually come across with the game. So right now I'm just gonna look at this video and by another content creator, and he really does not want this fucking project to be up, and I'm like trying to understand why you would not want this idea. Like, so far in my head, the only problem that I have with it, that it might never happen because of legality reasons. Anyways, I'm gonna watch a little bit of it and then I'm gonna stop and pause and shit like that.
Alright, hello everybody, all you Sly Cooper fans in the Sly Cooper community. I'm here today to talk about this video on my screen right here. And the reason I'm here to talk about it, because this man, Kevin Savo, he loses his shit in this video towards the end.
Alright, so before I actually start with this video, although that I am gonna critique this one person, I don't like that we're discouraging people from creating stuff. I no way want anybody to give hate on this guy. I mean, he's already getting hate for a lot right now. I'm just suggesting people to not go onto his videos and hate on him. This is just me talking about what I feel about Sly Cooper and etc. This is the last warning. I'm not promoting hate and I'm not promoting harassment. If you feel like harassing somebody and not actually being in the real discussion, then leave this fucking video, because I'm not taking this bullshit.
For this bizarre ending would actually be mind-blowingly entertaining, and even if it was entertaining, it certainly wouldn't make sense.
Listen, something can be entertaining and not make sense. It's okay to separate those ideas if need be.
He's not wrong at this point. I mean, you can make something that doesn't make sense to be entertaining. There was a game that I've played called No Time to Explain, and the time travel makes no fucking sense whatsoever. It's so out of proportion and wild that it's entertaining and it's fun just by the spectacle of just it not making any sense. So at this point, yeah, he is right. The thing is that it doesn't make sense in the Sly Cooper series. That's his point. That's his argument before.
In short, it's my personal belief that there was never a thought-provoking or remotely interesting concept for how to follow this ending to Thieves in Time. I think it was a...
Why does Sly Cooper have to be, like, thought-provoking? Like, play as a talking anthropomorphic raccoon who's really good at, like, paying attention to blue sparkles in the environment. Like, we're not being philosophical here, my man.
This point is dumb. Okay, so I'm gonna break down why this point sucks. To just saying that Sly Cooper is just a talking raccoon and that it doesn't have any meaning towards it is so close-minded of what animations and cartoons are actually like. I mean, sure, yes, he is a talking raccoon. There has to be some meaning. And plus, the way that you say that Sly Cooper is basically just a raccoon that looks at blue auras is such a lame interpretation of how this character is. How I interpret Sly Cooper is a cunning edge thief that steals and breaks into people's houses for the honor of his family legacy. And right there, I did not even mention anything about it being a cartoon, but just playing down as if none of this matters and that there is no meaning towards anything that was presented in the Sly Cooper trilogy is just wrong. Mario is just a plumber in the Mushroom Kingdom, and what helps Princess Peach is a bunch of toads that have diapers on and always gets captured by this dragon fuck turtle called Bowser. When you break stuff down like that, it just makes it so meaningless and so dumb. There's a lot of people who care about Sly Cooper. There's a lot of people who care about SpongeBob or Mario or Sonic or any of those properties. But at least with those properties and all of those things, they have somewhat of a meaning. And yes, some of those do have minimal meaning, but it just doesn't mean that all of the medium has no meaning at all. Sly Cooper has a meaning. It's the idea of honor. It is the idea of being an individual. And of course, I would suggest watching B-Max's videos or any of other like Sly Cooper related reviews about it, because they go a lot more in depth with it. And just by just saying that it's just a raccoon game, it does not sit well with me.
If anything, it would suggest that the next Sly Cooper game, had there have been enough success for one to be seriously considered, would be a continuation of the time travel story. How could
Why does it have to be a continuation of the time travel story? Why can't they just, you know, get Sly out of Egypt and then have a story?
If he leaves out of Egypt, then what? What do you do after ancient Egypt? Do you not want Sly to be with Carmelita? Do you not want Sly to be with Murray and Bentley? How is he gonna go to the present day normally? The only way for him to get to the present day, do some time travel, but in your case, you don't want any time travel in the game. So what? We're gonna have to only play one level of just Sly going around in ancient Egypt? Remember in Sly 1 where he just goes to Hades, to China, to America? Get ready to play only one level in Sly 5. Are we gonna really have to wait until the actual time is up? We're gonna really wait for like billions of centuries just so he can get to the present day without time travel? By that time he'll be fucking dead. What, are we gonna go all the way to Spain so he can meet Christopher Columbus, the animal version, and just go to America and then wait until World War, and then we have to wait for World War II, and then we have to wait until a bunch of other shit just so he can go to the present day? That makes no sense. It has to be a time travel story again. And as much as you can just pick out a little stuff and being like, yeah, you can totally make a story that is not related to time travel, we're still here complaining that Sly is stuck in ancient Egypt. Right now you said there's like billions of ways that he can like get out of Egypt. Yeah, Egypt as in normal Egypt. This is ancient Egypt, meaning that it's far, far back. To me, I feel like I can make the first level. I can make the first level of a story that is in Sly 5, but I have no fucking clue of how to write the whole fucking game. Everybody is like, oh, easy. With Sly 5, you can just start with ancient Egypt. And then after that, what the fuck do? You're still stuck in Egypt. What, are we gonna go right back to Bentley and Murray? How did that happen? How did they came there? We can't just throw away all this fucking beats and time shit. We literally made a game about time travel. That's why I feel like this game is really good, because it goes right back to the core fundamentals of what makes Sly Sly. Take it back. We're not fucking playing Back to the Future, we're playing Sly Cooper.
Suggests that Sly 5 would have to be more like Thieves in Time Part 2. Especially because we didn't meet Sly's father, on top of the
Why
fact
did
that
we need-
Sanzaro
wait, why
was
do we need to
comfortable
meet
creating
Sly's
new
father?
Coopers we never learned about in the
Why do we
Thievius
have to meet
Raccoonus.
Sly's
There could certainly
father?
be more for the Cooper gang. I'm
Sure.
not confident that Sanzaru's plan for getting Sly out of Egypt would make sense in relation to time travel theory.
You're barking up a hell of a tree with the idea of making sense in regards to time travel theory, because time travel in itself is nonsensical. Time travel storylines are probably the worst storylines you could ever attempt in anything ever, because it never makes sense.
Isn't that the reason why they're making another fourth game? Because it doesn't make sense? Yeah, it's a big brain time.
Yeah, this is big brain time. Yeah, this is big brain time. Yeah, this is big brain time. Yeah.
So where do we go from there? Sly escapes
Get him out of
ancient
Ancient
in
Egypt?
just the first level and just enough time to set up a new story, and then we head off in that story's direction?
Yes!
There's nothing structurally proper about that at all, and
Why does the storytelling in Sly Cooper need to be this deep? They're talking animals that go on, like, adventures.
The same people who are saying that you shouldn't have meaning in a game like this is like saying that animation is just for kids. That everything that we make and what we see are just for children. And that if you ever watch it, then you're just some weirdo that just loves fucking kids cartoons and shit. I'm not watching Barney. I'm watching Sly Cooper. 5 people came to his house. He murders his dad. This huge fucking metal owl that comes in and fucking kills his father. This same fucking owl has been following this guy's family line for centuries. Alright, so at this part, I'm gonna play devil's advocate. So, Sly Cooper is just a cartoon and it's for kids, and that nobody should like it because it's for kids, and yeah, if you're an adult, you should find another hobby to do. Then why am I commenting on a video that is talking about a children's game? Why do I want a Sly 5 even though that it's for kids, quote unquote, like you said? Why am I putting meaning into a worthless game about a raccoon? You're asking to us, but why do you care about Sly Cooper? And that's where you just shoot yourself in the foot.
why does a Sly Cooper game have a cliffhanger in the first place? That in and of itself breaks part of the traditional mold of what a Sly Cooper game is, because Sly games never had cliffhangers.
Really? Sly games never have cliffhangers. Is Sly 2 the only game that you ever played? Sly 1 ends with Clockwork's, like, eyes turning back on, glowing back to life. That sets up the idea that Clockwork's gonna return. That's a bit of a cliffhanger. Sly 3 ends with the fucking time machine tease. That's a bit of a cliffhanger. That was the idea that fans held on to for half a decade after that game came out.
I'm not gonna say that this person is wrong. I mean, there has been cliffhangers on other games. The thing is that those were mostly teasers. If you think about it, if you still ended the series off in 1 and 3, it would still end off the story pretty well. With Sly 1, yeah, Clockwork's eyes open, but it also opens up with Murray jumping up and screaming, and I always thought of it as a little gag. And with Sly 3, it was mostly of just a throwaway line, because right after they finished Sly Cooper, they just went off to Infamous. With Sly 4, it's shit, because not only that you ended off in the story really fucking badly, but it also anticipates that we have to make a fucking Sly 5 to order to end off the actual story of Sly 4 Thieves in Time. That's shit. That's more of a cliffhanger than the other 2 games. With the other 2 games, at least the story is completed. With Sly Thieves in Time, there was no fucking ending. What happened? Sly's stuck in Egypt, which is the same fucking thing that everybody's been yelling about for fucking years. Bruh.
So while a lot of people think I wrote a fanfiction follow-up to Sly 3 as a big fuck you to Thieves in Time, the actual reason was that I, in my wildest imagination, would have no fucking clue how to write a follow-up to Thieves in Time. The only logical way to follow up Thieves in Time, in my mind, would be with another time travel story, and that's just not something I'd be interested in writing. Now,
So, it's not that you don't have an idea, it's literally just that you don't want to. It's just that you don't care. So, why bother with this whole rigmarole of saying, no, I didn't make this as a big fuck you to Thieves in Time. I made it 'cause, you know, fuck you.
I'm gonna coin a new term. Let's call it the Anthony Fantano effect. It's basically where you give an entire list or a bajillion reasons as to why you dislike something, and people just ignore everything you say and make up their own reason as to why you dislike or like something. You only dislike this because it's popular. You only like this movie because it's nostalgic. Do you have a complex or something? Do you need an apple juice? It's like you have an opinion that rivals other people's. They mentally cannot comprehend this, so they produce their own reasons as to why.
Not even as fan fiction. That's something Vivi would be interested in writing.
Also, why the need to just throw shade at VT and Vivi like that? Like, why?
In Time, you could have Thieves in Time 2 and Sly 4 Deceit of Thieves.
I don't want either of those. I want a proper Sly 5 by professional game developers, my man. I don't want no fan fiction, and I especially don't want no fan fiction that misses the point of Sly Cooper.
You want professional game devs? What does this even mean? Do you want AAA studios to work on a Sly game? What? Do you not believe in fucking indie devs? Indie devs have been really working on this industry for fucking years now. And you're telling me that you don't want to see that? Fucking Super Meat Boy started off as a fucking Flash game. I'm gonna put up a bunch of pictures on screen telling you of how many fucking people were on this damn team. Why does it matter to have a big fucking studio like fucking EA? And don't tell me about, oh, you don't want fan fiction in your damn Sly Cooper game. Bruh, Thieves in Time was fan fiction. Put on the damn clip.
Seen beating up on numerous occasions. Bentley has Carmelita belly dance to keep them distracted while the rest of them try to open the door. What the hell did I just say? This is the thing I've been building towards for a while. I always knew this was the case, but I never had a word for it until I saw the TGX Unnostalgic review. And this is the one argument I was saying I agreed with that I hadn't already thought of. And that one thing is that this game is a fucking fan fiction. I'm not going to say that all fanfiction is poorly written. I bet plenty of fans of anything, no matter what it may be, can turn out an engaging storyline. But this is a definition of bad fanfiction, whether it be the painful flanderization of interesting characters, turning them into irritating perversions of their previous incarnation, the stupid plot devices, the ridiculous coincidences, turning previously good characters into villains for no good reason, Murray cross-dressing in this belly dance scene, and the list goes on and on and on. I have no doubt in my mind saying that the old Carmelita would never do this, ever. She'd always been a strong character who was dedicated to catching criminals above all else, and the mere concept of it is hard to believe. But it goes so far, you have to shake her. Okay, I'm not finishing this sentence. I'm not as bothered by it as other people, but I still find this scene completely disgusting and adds absolutely nothing to the game.
Cyberbomb Funk was a game that I saw, and I was just like, what the fuck? This trailer looks so fucking good. And I was like, fuck yeah. Because I don't want to wait for fucking Sega to give me fucking Jet Set Radio Future. Because Jet Set Radio Future has been dead for so many fucking years. Why should I wait for a big ass fucking developer to provide me entertainment if I could just go online and look at something different that are actually made by fans like me?
I don't want fan fiction in my Sly Cooper game. I want professional game developers. Looks at Sanzero Sly Thieves in Time to see Carmelita belly dancing.
And if the Sly Cooper fan community supported well put together elaborate Sly fan fiction instead of praying it gets a cease and desist, we could fund something like a fan-made animated series for the...
You know, well put together, elaborate fan fiction. Well put together, elaborate fan fiction might be a good idea. Too bad nobody has presented any of it. To where I can see it, at least.
Just because you don't see it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. This is just like an argument where people are like, music nowadays sucks ass. There's only Justin Bieber songs and other stupid pop songs. I don't want to listen to it. Okay, if you don't want to listen to it, then go out of your way and listen to other good music. Other music that people made and that they're fucking great. But those people are too lazy to make their own fucking decisions to look for their fucking music. This pisses me off. Why the fuck are we waiting for people to spoon feed us, and yet we criticize those fucking people for breaking the norm? God damn. It's so fucking sad. Go out of your way to look for it. And if you're not gonna look for it, then make it your own. It's not the internet's fault that they're not making their shit. I've seen many fucking times where I go online and I see a bunch of fan fiction and I'm like, you know what, that shit's good. But of course nobody told me about, hey, you should go out of your way to look at fucking fan fiction. I did it myself.
Fans. The industry has promised you an animated series for what, like 2 years now? That'll never see the light of day.
Oh, yeah, that shit's
I'm telling
dead.
you right now, whether you agree with how I go about it or not, I would personally put together a Sly animated pilot with my team.
All
and
right.
I'd personally pay Kevin Miller whatever he wants to voice it if he'd consider it. Totally.
Alright. 2 things. 1, alright. Put your money where your mouth is then and make an animated series.
Trying to make a game is putting a lot more effort than people basically being like, hey, put your money where your mouth is and make an animated series.
Do you even think about the words you say before you say them? Do you just want to be, like, right? Is that it? Do you not want to, like, actually discuss things? Do you want to just be right? And if someone makes you mad, they're wrong? Is that what's going on here? Are you just a child?
I feel like he isn't a child. I think Savo is a really smart guy. Actually, when you go into his channel, he live streams himself actually talking to people who criticize him. And they come in and they talk about what they don't like, and he actually listens to them while also giving his opinion on it. I feel like he is less of a child. I feel that you're the child because you're criticizing people that people like and saying that, yeah, this game is for babies and that they aren't allowed to have an opinion and it's not supposed to have a meaning towards it because it's a cartoon and that it's an animated game. I don't know what you're trying to talk about. I don't know what your point is. I don't know if your point is to like discourage people from actually making games, which is, to me, very sad. Just telling somebody that you're never gonna be able to do this thing and you're never gonna be able to like live up to expectations of Sucker Punch and Sanzaro. Maybe that's the reason why you don't really see fan fiction that is elaborate like this. Probably because there's been too many damn people who talk down to people, being like they're never gonna be good enough. You wanna know what I call those people? I call those people bullies. I remember I had this one friend that he always claimed to be a nice guy and that anything I would make is gonna be fucking terrible and trash because all I cared about was money and that I cared about was clout chasing and that I will never be a nice guy. I will never be in the same standards as him. And I said to him, fuck off. You don't know me. You don't know my life. That he's a fucking loser. Because he did so many dumb shit. We really gonna bully people out of doing their passions. And that's fucking sad.
Feel about me, and I understand
Do
the
you?
consensus they have of me. It's that I'm playing God. Like, in other words, I don't get to decide the future of Sly.
That conclusion is so egotistical. You're not getting backlash because you're trying to dictate the future of Sly Cooper. You're getting backlash because your opinions are like dog shit.
Because to my opinion, I feel like his opinions are really good. I feel like his points are valid in that even if we do find a disagreement in something, I would somewhat understand. But in your case, I don't understand anything. Because at one point you're being like, I want a Sly 5, but at the same time you're saying that it's for fucking kids. and that it shouldn't have fucking meaning at all. We should just have these fucking characters go around in the fucking world not knowing what the fuck to do. And you're telling him that he's a fucking egocentric person? I'm sorry, but he's not the one saying that you're not gonna be able to make this game ever in your life, because apparently you know where the fuck the Sly Cooper series would go.
Sly Cooper, Sanzaru, Sucker Punch, or Sony do. Well,
Also, you're wrong there. It's only Sony that decides the future. Sucker Punch and Sanzaru have... Sanzaru has no say in the matter anymore, because Sony completely cut ties with them, and also they work for Facebook now to make VR games, so they're completely out. Sucker Punch doesn't want to make Sly Cooper anymore, and also, even if they did, it would be up to Sony to give the final say-so on whether or not they would. Which, I mean, they probably would, let's be real, because Sucker Punch got some clout right now with Sony, I bet, with how well Ghost of Tsushima did. But despite all that, regardless, it's all Sony. It's all Sony that has the say on Sly Cooper. No one else. Sony.
You basically broke your own argument there. So you're telling me that there is no chance of Sly 5 ever coming back? So you're telling me that I'm gonna wait for a game that is probably not even in the works yet? And you're telling me that this idea is bad?
serious treatment.
Okay.
Because if we didn't, nobody would have. All you guys know how to do is demand shit and talk shit. We put our money where our mouth was.
You know, I don't know what you're making that Deceit of Thieves for. I don't know if you're like just making it as a personal passion project for you, but like this constant contempt for your audience does not serve well the reception that this project is currently getting and will continue to get in the future. Like, if you want to be taken seriously for what you're doing, you need to start at least pretend to show a little bit of humility. Come on.
Why are you saying him being transparent and telling his honest opinions on the games is bad? I like it when people are actually being honest with themselves and telling their actual opinions rather than just piggybacking other people's opinions. Isn't that why most YouTubers get big? Is that the reason why most celebrities get big, is because of their personalities and that they're fair and they're honest to people? I'm just gonna let you decide on that, because apparently you just want people to not be transparent.
Also, something a lot of you neglect to understand is that Sly Cooper is intended to be an experience that of a playable graphic novel, and its original cutscenes are illustrated in comic book fashion for a reason.
Yeah, the reason is because of the limited budget they probably had and the limited development time they had, results of having a limited budget. Because I think Sly Cooper could work like really well, could thrive as like a budget title. But like, these things that you're praising them for, they're not purely artistic choices.
Also, you haven't actually explained it. You've been talking about Sly 2 and Sly 3, but you never explained the transition of Sly 1 to Sly 3, of how much of an improvement it was. I'm not gonna say that Sly 1's cutscenes are bad, because I personally like it. I look at those cutscenes and they remind me of construction paper art, but the way that Sly 2 and Sly 3 did it, it looked way great. I loved it. It looks really good. Sly 4, on the other hand, I'm not gonna judge it too much, but personally, I don't really like it as much. I'm sorry, but I feel like in the cell shading in the first, second, and third game, they did a lot more better than the fourth game. And that's only because it's a personal preference. I'm not gonna say that it fucking sucks ass. Even when the game came out and everybody was already judging it, I still looked at the trailers and said it was kinda meh, and I didn't really find it all too appealing. And I like that in this new project that it's bringing back this old sense, this old art style that was already thrown away in feats in time.
In the comment section claimed that my consensus
Me.
of this is wrong and that Sly Cooper is supposed to be more reminiscent of a Saturday morning cartoon. Usually I'd say you have a right to your opinion, but this is actually factually wrong.
Straight from the creators' mouths. I'm not talking censor, I'm talking Sucker Punch. Straight from the mouths. They cite verbatim Saturday morning cartoons.
Single company, single project focused. We also wanted to be as small as we could be to make frontline console games. We didn't want to make, sort of fringe titles, but we also didn't want to grow the company. We didn't have visions of running a 100-person company. Of course, that's what we're doing now, but it's 15 years later. I think we've always felt like character action games were what we loved. We knew we didn't want to make sports games or driving games or first-person shooters. Character action games are what inspired us when we were players and has continued to inspire us as game makers.
Wanted to make a game that looked and felt like a cartoon, but was one step closer to realism rather than flat and graphic.
I'd say about a month into development, we came up with a one-sentence description that really has guided the development of the product. And the one sentence was, Sly and the gang work together to pull off a string of big heists.
When I say heist, I mean like classic Hollywood heist film kind of heist, where the last third of the film was all about this big, spectacular, elaborate crime involving many thieves working together to do something huge.
Everything from the art style of the original games to the origin story of a young boy who loses his parents and grows up to avenge them is more reminiscent of comic book heroes. Think Batman, think Spider-Man, think Superman. They all lost their parents.
I'd like to point out that comic books and graphic novels are two different things, okay? So either pick it's supposed to be like a comic book or pick it's supposed to be like a graphic novel. Because if you say comic books, I'd be willing to, forfeit some ground on that argument. Because comic books, they can get pretty silly.
I'm just surprised that the first thing you think of when somebody says comic books is that it's funny. Batman's family just fucking dies in front of him. Uncle Ben dies? What a fucking hoot and a holler.
And comic books, as you know, have several different stories that exist in several different timelines applied to the same character. They all coexist at the same time. There's a difference between Spider-Man, the Amazing Spider-Man, and the Ultimate Spider-Man. They all tell different stories, they all have a different tone, and they all have different art style. In that respect, Thieves in Time serves as a different adaptation of Sly Cooper. A different story, different graphics, different art style, and a different interpretation of the characters. Thieves in Time is the Saturday morning cartoon.
No, it's all the Saturday morning cartoon.
Here I come, rougher than Knuckles, the best of them, tougher than Knuckles. You can call me Knuckles, unlike Knuckles, I don't chuckle. I'd rather flex.
Stab at a follow-up to Sly 3 and have ideas for a Sly 5 that feels canon to the trilogy and our fanfiction follow-up. So let Vivi write Thieves in Time 2 and Thieves in Time 3, and that will serve as the time travel trilogy of Sly games, a different adaptation. Another series that coexists with the original series, just like comic books do, since Sly Cooper is supposed to be a playable graphic novel. Because logically, that's the only way to follow up Thieves in Time. Now, I know...
Again, you could easily follow up Thieves in Time without having it be just a pure time travel story.
Sly Cooper 4 devs make a time travel story and end the story with the main characters stuck in the past. Man 1. If the story ends with him being stuck in ancient Egypt, then the 5th game would have to be a time travel story. Man 2. Why does it have to be a time travel story? To me, which do you want him to be in the present day?
And also, I don't want either of those timelines. I don't want your timeline. I don't want this theoretical VT and VV time travel timeline. I would prefer an official Sly 5 made by professional developers and people who have the rights to make a Sly Cooper game. You know what, sure, if you could somehow get permission from Sony, if you can get Sony to sanction your Deceit of Thieves here, then that'll be a different story. We
know not many fans of the series care about continuity, tonality, or traditional story.
Many fans of the series don't care about continuity, tonality, or traditional story arcs. Says the man who is deliberately ignoring one of the sequels to the game, trying to push the series further into the gritty and edgy aspect. And as far as traditional story arcs go, aren't you, like, just shutting down Bentley's story arc by giving him his legs back for no reason? Why does Sly Cooper have to be, like, thought-provoking? Like, play as a talking anthropomorphic raccoon. And as far as traditional story arcs go, why does the storytelling in Sly Cooper need to be this deep? And as far as traditional story arcs go, talking animals that go on, like, adventures.
And as far as traditional story arcs go...
Now you care about it? Now you care about the story arc. Now you care that, oh, Sly Cooper isn't just a kid's game. It's not just about raccoons and fucking Murray and Bentley going on a heist. Now you care about it?
I like to bring up this point that the Bentley thing, that he actually made his own legs, because somehow people are just saying that, like, oh, he just gave back his legs. No, he actually made his own robotic legs so he can walk. I mean, if you're in Bentley's position, would you actually still be in the wheelchair, or just actually get up and actually, you know, make your own legs? I don't know why this is a problem if Bentley does come back with his legs, and that if Bentley still had a wheelchair, I'd be fine either way, as long as I get to play as Bentley. And that I also, if we're gonna go back to the timeline thing and like different universes, it's like, what if and like when it goes into Thieves in Time, he just sticks with the wheelchair?
So if a follow-up to Thieves in Time was about Sly traveling to space to fight a space monster, you'd accept it, as long as I didn't write it. But
no! That's jumping the shark worse than Thieves in Time did!
I want to see what really is jumping the shark on this man's mind. Like, I really want to know what's jumping the shark, because apparently whatever that he makes is going to be trash either way, because he just wants to play a game that is made by top developers and stuff like that. He just wants a Sly 5.
Oh my god. You know, you keep saying Thieves in Time fanboys as if the only people who could ever disagree with you are Thieves in Time fanboys, but, like, it's because your opinions are awful.
Again, your opinions are awful.
You keep calling me a Thieves in Time fanboy. I prefer Sly 3. I think Sly 2 is, like, the better story. Why does the storytelling in Sly Cooper need to be this deep? And as far as traditional story arcs go, talking animals that go on, like, adventures. I think Sly 2 is, like, the better story. Why does Sly Cooper have to be, like, thought-provoking? Like, play as a talking anthropomorphic raccoon.
It's just funny how he's saying that, like, Sly 2 has a better story, yet he just says that none of it has any meaning. And that, why are we putting philosophy into a game about raccoons? Again, it basically breaks your fucking points, and it's funny.
You need to, like, you really need to, like, take your head out of your own ass for a second and, like, come back down to earth for a little bit.
in the realm of logic, continuing to travel and fight obstacles through time would be the only way to follow up the...
No! No! You can get Sly out of Egypt, and you can come back to the modern day and have a story in the modern day. Like, there's nothing wrong with the idea of just skittling on to Egypt and get, hey Sly, come back, and then going back to modern day and being like, okay, we're modern day now. Let's pull a fucking heist.
And that's what appeals to me about it. Thieves in Time fanboys then push the fuck out of the idea that Sly Cooper is intended to be silly, goofy, cartoon-like. Well, it's like, if that's what interests you about Sly Cooper, then what does that make you, a toddler? You like Sly Cooper because of the amazing Cooperoni!
You don't know. If you want to play the straw man idea and just pull the dumbest, like, shit moments from a game.
You feel strong, like getting on your feet, like, fuck you, man! The amazing Cooperoni, it's fucking awesome! You're just mad, man. You're just a hater. You don't understand the brilliance of fucking dumb shit. Remember the villain that liked lollipops?
You're putting on a real good angry video game nerd impression right now, by the way. About in Sly 2, when you're fighting the Contessa, and she does that weird hypnotism shit on you, and your eyes just bug out, and they get all swirly and shit. That's real gritty. That's real edgy, I gotta say.
These guys trying to suggest that I'm some fucking lunatic who's been playing some goofy kids game for 20 years and hallucinating the idea that it actually has some mature and well thought out story beats?
Now, I want to point out the fact that the second part of what you just said there, it's like good storytelling, phenomenal story beats. Sly Cooper has that. I won't disagree. Why does the storytelling in Sly Cooper need to be this deep? But all the same, you are kind of acting like a lunatic right now. Because Sly Cooper is primarily marketed towards children. It's rated E10.
Rated E means everyone. Everyone. It means everyone. Everyone. E.
Because apparently society just wants to like warp people's minds, being like, it's only for kids. You should stop watching animations. Why do you care about this fucking raccoon? The same reasons of why you guys want to see a fucking Sly 5.
They don't put the storytelling up front in the marketing. They put the funny little talking raccoon that wears no pants. He can like walk on wires and shit, and he's got a hippo friend who's really strong and a turtle friend who's really smart. It comes off, I think Sly 2 is like the better story, as you being really insecure. Like you don't want to admit that something you like is like marketed towards children.
It's for kids. It's for children. It's for children. If you're a teenager or an adult and you just want to look back on SpongeBob, you're a fucking pathetic child. You're a pathetic child, and I think you should shut up and just watch fucking Breaking Bad. I'm sorry, but Family Guy is a cartoon. Rick and Morty is a cartoon.
That is some Saturday morning cartoon shit right there. What are you talking about? The animated series. The Saturday morning they Sucker Punch specifically cited Batman the animated series straight from the mouths. They cite verbatim Saturday morning cartoon. Specifically cited Batman the animated series verbatim Saturday morning cartoon.
Specifically cited Batman the animated series.
How is this going in one ear and out the other with you?
Like Daffy Duck, not fucking Batman, which is arguably the edgiest mainstream superhero ever.
I feel like Sly Cooper's closer to Daffy Duck than Batman, if I'm gonna be honest.
No, it's not. It's like Batman. I'm sorry, but I don't remember the time that Daffy Duck has a father that fucking died. The point is that yes, the art style is cartoons. There's nothing wrong with that. The idea that you're saying that it's for children is dumb. Because it's not for children, it's for you, the watcher, the person who is playing the game. Because what I feel is that what most people don't feel, that cartoons are actually made for fucking everybody.
Couldn't exist in the comic books. Have you seen the Joker? They could do the same thing
I
with
have.
Clockwork. Why not? The materials.
Just compare Clockwork to the Joker?
I mean, if you think about it, it makes sense. Joker is mentally insane and can kill everybody and doesn't care about his own well-being because he'll just fucking kill himself if he wanted to. Clockwork is a fucking insane psychopath that basically follows your whole fucking family line. Fucking kills Sly's father, took his fucking book. Yeah, I would say that it compares so much to him.
There, Clockwork's a fucking madman. You know they make
Sure.
cartoon porn,
He's not the
right?
Joker.
Is that automatically lighthearted and family-friendly just because it's in cartoon form?
Many Batman.
Was that what I implied? That porn is family? Is that what you're really, like, translating from my words? That porn is family friendly? If it's animated?
And in the early comics, Batman killed criminals all the time.
And let's look at the original.
I'd also like to point out that the original Batman comics, I've read quite a few of them. Those, by today's standards, are silly as fuck. Those are some fucking comedy. The way Batman just haphazardly murders people is hilarious! If you just handpicked a character out of Sly Cooper and looked at that character at face value with, like, no surrounding context, some silly shit.
It's because you take shit out of context, that's why it's silly to you. Do you not understand that? Fucking Batman, if you take it out of context, it's just a man in a bat suit, and that's funny as fuck. But if you look at the backstory and understand the character, that is why you say he is a serious, dramatic character. I don't know why you don't understand this concept. Just because you take it out of context doesn't mean jack shit. Alright, so yeah, I guess right now he's just recapping everything, and I'm just gonna end my fucking video like this. Alright, so the only thing that I agree with was legality, and that's it. That the rest of the points that you've made are basically shot in the foot, and you can literally pull out many other points, and I can literally just pin you down. So simple. It's very simple. Hell, there's even points where you basically broke your entire point saying that I shouldn't care about Sly Cooper. I should just wait until Sly 5. Thank you all for watching this video. This was a long ass fucking video. I've been recording for fucking, well, how many? 3 hours? If you like it, share it if you want to share it. Subscribe to me if you want to see more of this. And yeah, hope you all have a good day. And stay dead, everybody. This is Skeletons. I make cartoons for a living. And I'm proud that I make cartoons for a living.